Hello. Today we're going to look at Bloom's taxonomy and the SAMR model and see how they pair together. We're going to start with the Bloom's taxonomy, and this specific image was created by the Vanderbilt University Center for Teaching. In Bloom's taxonomy, we see that it has lots of verbs to help create standards and objectives for students. And it begins with lower order thinking skills and ranges to higher order thinking skills. Remembering being the lowest and creating being the highest. To the right, we can see that there's lots of verbs that go with create, such as design, assemble, construct, conjecture, develop, formulate, author, and investigate. Along with every level of Bloom's taxonomy, there's many verbs that can help teachers, and it helps spark ideas and create lessons to aim at different levels of Bloom's taxonomy. We aim for the top 3 of analyzing, evaluating, and creative to really make student learning experiences meaningful and to show that they truly do understand the material they're learning. Next, let's look at the SAMR model. This picture is by Sylvia Duckworth, and she shows what no tech would look like if someone was trying to figure out what's in the ocean. And substituting, he's still on top of the water, he can't look, so he has technology, but it's a substitute. He's still on the surface and he can't really figure it out. When looking at augmentation, this is still a direct substitute, but it has a little bit of improvement. Now he can stay right below the surface level, so he can't really see what's down below, but he can see a little bit more than he could have before. For modification, this is when you give some technology that allows for a significant task design. This means that he now has an air pack, he can go further, he can see much more deeper. And redefinition means there's all new possibilities, like a submarine where he can now see the bottoms. So we know substitution and augmentation enhance the lesson, but transformation with modification and redefinition are really what we're aiming for when we're looking at the SAMR model, when we're implementing technology into our classroom. Now let's look at how Bloom's and SAMR go together. This image was created by Kathy Schrock in 2013. She took the SAMR model, substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition, and compared it with Bloom's. So if substitution is our bottom level, it's going to go with remembering. If augmentation is still enhancing our lesson, but not yet transforming it, augmentation is going to go with understanding and applying. Modification with new tasks can relate to applying, analyzing, and evaluating. And last, redefinition, when we have all new tasks and can now do something that was impossible without any technology, could be evaluating and creating. We can think of this as technology allowing students to create something that they couldn't have created before. Evaluating technology may give students more perspectives and things that they wouldn't have without technology too. And then if we look down at the other end, we know substitution is a direct substitute, so there's no change. So it's going to be the same learning. You just kind of have to remember what's going on. Even though there's technology involved, it may not totally change the situation. The next image we're going to look at today is the Pedagogy Wheel, developed by Alan Carrington. He took Bloom's taxonomy and also he added in technology. So this kind of is where SAMR and Bloom's taxonomy really meet each other. So we have remember and understand with apps like Twitter, Facebook, Google search. So things where they're really kind of reading something else and remembering. We have applying their knowledge with apps like Keynote, Google Docs, voice and audiobooks, so they really have time to take what they're learning and apply it in another way. We have our Analyze here, where we have Comic Life, Poplet. We have many different apps that help take what they're doing and analyze it into different categories and make sense of what they're doing. We have Evaluate. Things like Edmodo, AIM, Skype, and all of these allow for self-evaluation, students to summarize, to critique, and evaluate the content. And last, we have the Create section of our wheel, which has apps like GarageBand and iMovie, where they're creating and they can make songs, they can make podcasts, we have a ton of activities in here. We have our action verbs where they can create things to show what they're learning. So you have your action verbs that pair just like Bloom's taxonomy. And then you have your activities, which kind of lead more to SAMR and how you're going to use this technology to, as an activity to meet our Bloom's taxonomy levels. And on the outside is the different iPad apps that you can use to meet these activities. So Bloom's taxonomy and SAMR go very well hand in hand, and you can use technology to both redefine the lesson and to have students create and use higher ordered levels of Bloom's taxonomy.